How's it going, everyone? I'm Tanya and this is Growing Groceries, and today I'm in the garden and I'm going to be setting up the new drip hose for my garden beds. And the variety I got, there's a lot of options out there, but I chose to go with this. It is off of Amazon. It was really inexpensive and it looks slightly complicated, but I don't think it's actually going to be too bad. So thought I'd just make a quick video setting it up so that anyone out there who decides to get the same kind will have an idea what to do. Let's get started. Okay, so it comes with the smaller hose, it comes with the bigger hose. These are the different types of emitters it has. These are more like drip, and these ones kind of are like more of a mist. And then these are all the connectors. You got several different kinds. These ones here have end caps for the connecting the big hose, and then the little part is for where the smaller hose shoots off. And then these are the end caps for ending a line, and my assistant here has the zip ties. Good job. So for starters, I know I want it to start at this bed, and then I want one line to go up to do this loop here and another line to go down to the strawberry patch. And then I'm also going to want to send some to the carrots and the raspberries, and probably over to the onions and the cucumbers as well. The reason I want to start up here is because of gravity. My whole garden slopes downhill, so the water will have an easier time going this way than it's going to have if I start more in the middle and then try and send it up. It's going to have to go up like a few inches to get to this last part here, but since that's the only thing in this direction, it doesn't have to have as much water pressure for making it that far, as opposed to making it, all the way down there to the cucumbers. So I think it's going to balance out. That's basically how I did it with the soaker hose last year, and it worked out pretty well. So the first thing I'm going to do is, assuming that it's going to start right here in this corner, I'm going to start setting up the smaller hose to run down the center and set up a few emitters, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I've started getting it laid out. I've already set up these two beds, and I'll show you those in a second, but I want to show you how I connect these pieces. This part, the main hose, goes to this connector here. That part's really easy, but then it comes off into these little drip hoses, and that's what goes to the emitters, like this one here. So here I ran it off to a T connector because I need to use this for two different emitters. One is going to be for this carrot bed. The other one I'm going to connect to this part right here, and then it's going to go off to the raspberry bed. The way I get from one bed to another, so I made these. They're just PVC pipes, and I spray painted them all green, and then once I get them all where I want them, then I put a post down, like a little stake down into the ground and up into the pipes at the end to hold them where I want them. But the reason I did this is because I have small children and they love Mario. So I have these little pipes from one to another, and then they have their Mario toy, and they just like to come out here and pretend and play, and put them in one and bring them out another, and it just makes it fun for the kids. And also, I need it to get from one bed to another anyways, and I didn't want this ugly hose going across every bed, so I knew I was gonna have to get it across. I figured I might as well use the opportunity to do it in a fun way for the kids, and also this will help keep the black hose from absorbing all that heat, and therefore you don't get as much water to the other side, because some of it's going to be evaporating or it's going to be coming out really hot, And I didn't want either of those. So it just helps almost insulate the hose a little bit and makes it fun at the same time. So win-win. All right, but I'm going to show you how to connect these real quick so that you know what to do when you are trying this. Okay, so you take the end of your hose and you got to press it onto this connector piece here. It's kind of hard to get on there, so you just work it on a little bit at a time, kind of wiggle it. And then I like to try and push it until the edge is over this lip and then starts going back in. Like, you can see this one here. See how it comes over the edge and then comes back in? Because that's kind of holding it on. So it is kind of a pain in the butt, but it gets there. See, this one's starting to get there. Okay, so it's coming back in. I feel like that's holding it securely enough. Now I'll take the end of this and attach it to the connector. This is a T connector. And then that one will be ready to go into the raspberries. There. Now I'm gonna connect this part to the main hose, and that's really easy. Just take this cap off, run it onto the hose with the smaller, more narrow side going first, and put the hose on all the way to the end here where it's all the way seated, and then you just tighten this down. All right, so now I've got an emitter for this garden, and these ones are misters. So this is my carrot and onion bed. I think that'll be plenty for them. If it's not, I could always throw another T-post on here and do a second emitter, but for now I'm gonna try that. And then these are my raspberries, which are doing really well. I'm gonna try not to get poked by thorns here. Okay, put it right in the center, and I think that'll be good. Okay, correction, they're calling the blue ones drip emitter vortex, and the orange ones that are on a stake are drip emitter stream, and then these are misting nozzles. So, but it seems like the blue ones are going to give the most water, orange ones that are on a stake second most, and then the misting nozzles are more for like an individual plant or just a few plants right next to each other. Does Mario make Mommy's garden more fun?
Yeah. Magic.
All right, so down here by the cucumbers and the jelly melons, they need a good amount of water, and they're in individual buckets, so each one is getting one of these emitters. And the way these are set up, so you have these little T-posts, and then you go basically straight from one to the next in a daisy chain kind of situation. I don't know how well you can see that, but it just goes in a straight line from one to another. And then at the end, there's different ones that are basically, instead of a T, they come out and go to one emitter and stop there. So that's how I'll end the run. And this has been really easy to set up. I'm actually really impressed with this set. It's easier than I guess I expected. It is a lot of, you gotta sit and plan it, especially if you're like me and you have a lot of separate beds and buckets and pots and stuff. You gotta kind of figure out how you want to get from one to the next, and you got to make sure you're paying attention to who needs the most water, and then, you know, obviously gravity. But it's not bad. I'm interested to see when I turn it all on how it actually works, if everything's gonna be getting water to it, or if like these ones on both sides, it's gonna have 7. So 7 of these little emitters in a row, that might be too many. It might not make it all the way to the last ones, but I won't know until I try. So try I shall, you know. I will say that if you get this set, and pretty much probably any set like it where you have a drip hose and you have to connect the different connectors in between the beds and all of that, be prepared for your fingers to really hurt at the end, because I'm pretty sure my both pointer fingers and both thumbs are blisters at this point, and that's why I'm wearing gloves, because, well, it was really starting to hurt. I would probably suggest starting with gloves. If I were to do it again, that's what I would do. Just because pushing these little tiny rubber hoses onto every one of these connectors it's kind of difficult to get them on there. So it takes a lot of wiggling and working. It's not bad. It's not difficult. It is a little time consuming, but it's also just a lot. So just so you're aware, you might want to start with gloves. All right, so this is the last one. So I'll switch to this little piece here and pop it on the end of this one, and then the little cap goes on here, and that'll finish it off. There we go. And then I'll take a few garden staples just to hold it in place in a few different spots, and that'll be good for these. And then I've got one more to run from this first splitter. I'm gonna run it all the way through this way to these beds over here, and I already have, here, I'll show you. I already have one going this way, but this one is coming off of this, and I don't think it's going to get a lot of water out, especially this last one. So what I'm going to do is this last hose here, I'm going to run it, I'm going to weave it through the fence like I did here, just so it's up and out of the way. So I'll weave it through the fence, and then here I'm going to go to an emitter there, and then I'm going to come to another emitter in this box, because I don't think very much is going to come out of that one, if anything. But I could be wrong, and if they're both getting enough water pressure that stuff's coming out, you just twist this to close one, and it's no big deal. So finish this up, and then we'll turn it on and see how it's working. It comes with enough of the end caps that I could do 2 different hoses with it. So I ran one up, and the other I ran this way, going with gravity. So it's going a lot further, but it has gravity on its side. It's gonna run the 5 vortex drip or vortex sprinklers in this one with my onions and my tomatoes, and then down here to the strawberry patch, 5 more there. And then so they go into these connectors where another big hose comes off of it, and the 1/2-inch hose comes down here, and it runs the 4 50-gallon grow bags I have, the asparagus and onions, and lastly it comes down here and gets the cucumbers. There's nothing in these yet, but I want to be ready so that I can plant stuff in them. And then same with this hose over here. I have flowers going. That's going to be like a chaos flower bed. I don't have anything in here yet, or in here. I just set these 2 up today. So I'm gonna go turn the hose on and we'll see how far it actually goes. I used just about everything it came with. I used all but maybe 2 feet of the 1/2-inch hose and every emitter I had. I did not use all of the 1/4-inch hose. There was like, I don't know, this much left. Not a lot. I used most of it. But we'll see how the water pressure is. I'm really curious how it is down here, these last beds. Okay, on, make sure those two are off. It's ready. All right, I'm gonna do, see, I remembered that this had a leak, but I put plumber's tape up here hoping that would fix the leak. It is apparently in between there. So I'm gonna have to get a new one. But for now, we'll set this on 20 minutes just to have water going for a while and be able to test these out. I'm gonna have to replace this though. Okay, so I haven't adjusted any of them so we can see how far they'll actually go. So these vortex ones, I mean, it's here. It's coming all the way out. It's like 3 feet. Okay, so I'm gonna have it really low so it just gets this area. This one's off right now. I could just do that one and I wouldn't even need this one or this one really, but let's see how these ones look. Okay. So it's a stream in each direction. I like that they're adjustable. That's actually pretty awesome. All right, so that's interesting. This one isn't getting any pressure to do anything because of this mister. That's on like full blast though. Let's see if I can. It's going through multiple misters. I really just kind of want them on a drip, honestly. It's very customizable. Now that I have all of these tightened down where they're not coming out so much, just kind of barely, the one on the end it's working better, but it's definitely not doing much. But I really just need it for this one bed, so it'll be all right. I'm just gonna move it kind of to the middle. These ones, this one, and this one are all on the same, they're all on the same hose, the same line coming off from that adapter. And the last one still has plenty of pressure. So this one, this vortex here is the only one on this line. So obviously it's got plenty of pressure. This splits here and goes to 2 different vortexes. So this one is just about closed right now. Oh no, it's not. It just doesn't have as much pressure. Interesting. If I do that one a little tighter, I wonder why. It splits here. This has to go a lot further than that one. So it's interesting that this one doesn't have good pressure. Huh. They're the only two on this line. I would think, I wonder if close that one all together. This one still doesn't have good pressure. Trying to see if it has a leak somewhere. No. Just coming out the top. Curious. So what I'm probably gonna do is just put this one more in the middle, because it is gonna water pretty far. Like, I'm still getting some over here and a little bit here, but not a ton. Now, obviously, if you have a ton of plants that are blocking your water, you're not going to have as much getting through, so you got to keep that in mind. All right, so that's all for one hose. Now let's check this other hose. The first bed has obviously plenty of pressure. I tighten these down, because I don't need quite so much. And knowing how far the vortex sprinklers will go, probably could have even got away with just 2 in here, to be honest, instead of 5. It's just one of those things. That's why it's good to watch videos like this, because then you'll know, if you do this, if you get the same set, what to expect. Now I wanted to tighten all these down, hopefully get more pressure going through to the next bed, and so on. Which this is getting plenty of pressure. Just tighten all these down so that they're not on full blast. The more I tighten all of these ones, the less water's escaping here, the more pressure I should have on all the others. This one is off. Okay. Probably put it more towards the middle, but I think that will be plenty sufficient for this bed. That one's doing good. Okay, I don't want to waste any water getting through here. There we go. I don't want to stick my hand in the raspberries, but I'm gonna have to, because I don't think, oh, it is on. I'd say that's on good enough. I don't know if you can see it, but it's on. All right, over here, let's see. That one's doing good. Up here, good enough. It's something. It's not much, but if I aim it, you know, right at the roots, it's still water and it's still getting to the plant. Oh, I forgot to put a stopper on that. See, that's good to know. All right, I'm gonna get one before I forget, so otherwise that'll be sad. Okay, so now that I put the stopper on there, I switched it to one of the ones that's just for the nozzle and it doesn't continue on, and that not only improved that pressure, it improved this pressure, it improved the pressure of this one here. So far so good. One's looking good. Is it off? Yes, it is. Okay. These definitely don't go near as far as the Vortex ones. But I'm also getting to where, you know, I'm at the end of the line here. See, this one, remember I said I was worried this one wouldn't really have much pressure at all. So I added this one, and this one's got great pressure. So I'll just leave this one off. That way, these other ones get a little bit more pressure. That one's doing great. All of these misters, really gotta tighten them down because that's a bit much, honestly. Here. That's more than enough. Okay, that one goes here. That's looking good. Not bad, not great, but not bad. And that one's pretty good. So that's the end of the line. It actually made it all the way. Those ones are a bit aggressive, but that's okay. These ones are a bit light, but that's okay. I didn't expect it to be perfect. It's still something. That's still gonna get water to the roots. Whatever plants are here might just have to work a little bit harder for the water, but that's not a big deal. And I can always plant things that need a little bit less water in the ones that may get a lighter pressure and therefore getting less water. The strawberries and the tomatoes are getting a lot of water, which is good. I knew they'd need them. These are getting a lot of water. I might turn that one up a little bit. This is doing fine, even without that one working, and I don't know why that one's not. It might have a little bit of dirt inside this hose, because, you know, at the end I was wearing gloves, and it's a little bit harder to keep the gloves clean. Though I was trying, I have a towel with me, I was trying to wipe everything off before I connect them. If it has a little bit of dirt inside that hose that's clogging it, that would make sense to me. Other than that, maybe that emitter is messed up. But this one is doing just fine, even covering this whole area. So I'm not overly concerned about it, honestly. This one's like, it's doing enough that I could put it on this far spot so that that gets, because you can see like the water from this one is, it's going real far. It's just not quite reaching this particular square. So that'll be fine. And then it'll cover everything. So all in all, for the price, I think it's a great value. I think that this is going to be exactly what I need for the season. I'm going to have to replace my timer because I can't just leave it on and leaking all night. But then I'll be able to set this up to where it turns on for probably 10, maybe 15 minutes in the morning. I prefer to set it to where it turns on right as the sun is starting to come up or just before. That way it's not in the heat of the day. If you have it set to where it's going off in the heat of the day, then most of that water is going to evaporate. Well, maybe not most, but a lot of it's going to evaporate, and that's just a waste. But, oh, I saw on a timer. I forgot. I was like, what happened? But I think that this is going to be perfect for my setup. Will it last? I think it's going to last at least a few years. I mean, it might not last forever. It's plastic and rubber. It all feels like it's made well. But, you know, between the heat of the summer and the freezing winters, plastic and this rubber does crack, I do like that I can replace little sections at a time instead of replacing the whole thing. That was one of the big driving forces of getting a set like this. I wanted to be able to just replace sections. And I do think that this is going to do a much better job of watering everything than the soaker hoses that I had last season. Because the soaker hoses, by the time they got down there was barely any water pressure whatsoever. Like this, and those last ones doesn't have a lot of pressure, those last 3 beds there, but it has way more than the soaker hose would. So all in all, I'm very happy. I'll leave the link for the set I bought in the description below. It was from Amazon. It was inexpensive, and I feel like it's really well made for what you're getting. I think it's definitely worth the money you pay for it. So if this was helpful for you at all, I'd appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to see how this lasts, hit subscribe, because I'll do follow-up videos and be able to show you how it's lasting and what I think of it in the long run. But thanks for watching, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. God bless.